So let's think about sports apparel and where we are with that now and how far we've come. And if you think of, to get you in the right vein of thinking about where I'm going with this, think about Spike Lee and commercials associated with Nike. Think about Run DMC in the early years with Adidas, and we'll get to that in a moment. But also think about this modern era that we're in now, where Under Armour had quite the run, just based on some generic presentations that were cool in the sense of protecting your house and not so much the individual athlete endorsement. And then today, where we got, and try to think about how we got where we are. If we go back in time, the first signature shoe was the Chuck Taylor Converse, kind of the canvas shoe, and Chuck Taylor was a salesperson, and the name just got associated with this player, but it became the cool shoe to wear. And it wasn't until you got the signature shoe by Michael Jordan associated with Nike that really elevated that brand. And if you want to look at the kind of the history of shoes, the two great books. One of them is called Sneaker Wars. It looks at the development of Adidas, Horst and Adi Dassler, and kind of the Dassler family in Germany, and the issues that allowed two shoe companies to develop right around World War II. And the Dassler brothers began to battle the Puma and Adidas brand. And then it was really multi-years later, decades later, when Nike is started by Phil Knight, as Knight essentially was originally trying to find a way to sell shoes and be involved in the shoe market, and then slowly developed his own brand. And it took kind of these battles that took place between these companies in terms of who would wear their shoes at Olympic Games. And one of the big moments where we see some initial battles was the 1968 Olympics, where athletes began to get paid in shoe boxes to wear different brands and the like. And that was really the moment that we began to see this spike. The moment that people really started thinking about branding more, as I mentioned, was the Michael Jordan moment, the commercials made by Spike Lee. And actually, I heard Commissioner David Stern talk about this the other day, when the NBA actually banned the type of shoe that Jordan was wearing. And then the advertising campaign for Nike became the only shoe banned by the NBA. Well, the NBA banned the shoe because of the colors, and they didn't like multicolored shoes. But of course, Nike began to market it as in a sense and said, yeah, they banned the shoe because it makes them jump higher. So that moment takes place. But the coolness moment, and Adidas really had the opportunity to capture this, was Run DMC wearing Adidas shoes without the laces, and in the book Sneaker Wars, there's a whole discussion about how virally, before it was viral, this whole idea of youth doing the cool thing that cool people, the group Run DMC, are doing. So at that moment, Adidas really captured a sector in terms of sneaker sales that they had lost to Nike in terms of coolness. So today we're seeing another moment. I mentioned Under Armour, but you've got Adidas kind of sneaking back in with Kanye, for example, being an endorser of the shoe. So moving away from the sports endorser to kind of the cool sector of society. But the Run DMC moment really lets you know, though, it's got to be something that happens not with a plan sometimes. And before they were paid by Adidas, Run DMC was wearing Adidas. So it's more of that sort of thing that's going to provide, I think, the next step of success in the sneaker market.